And that leads me and segues me into my lead story of the day regarding Karine Jean-Pierre taken to the podium yesterday, manipulating data and furthering Biden's agenda on his war against the gas stations. It's truly astonishing. With that being said, she's going to talk a little bit about what's going on in the economy with inflation just going through the roof, and she kind of just underskirts that as like it's not a big deal. And then watch what she does with the numbers here, folks, and we're going to analyze these numbers all together and go through it together. With that being said, let's roll it.
So on Wednesday, we will have new CPI inflation data, and we expect the headline number, which includes gas and food, to be highly elevated, mainly because gas prices were so elevated in June. Gas and food.
You see how she just like throws that under the rug? Yeah, it's going to be elevated. It's because of gas prices, and gas prices cause food prices to go up.
Prices continue to be heavily impacted by the war in Ukraine. And there are a few important points
Putin's fault again.
To keep in mind when we get this backwards-looking data. First, June CPI data is already out of date because energy prices have come down substantially this month and are expected to fall further. The average retail price of gas was 11% higher in June than it was in May. And the cost of gas in July is already down 7% from the June peak. I have a chart here for you guys to see. The crude oil is the yellow, the crude oil is the blue at the bottom, and the retail gasoline price is at the top, and you can see the difference there. I would also note that even though gas prices shot up quickly when oil prices rose, they have not come down as quickly as oil has. We continue to call on oil and gas companies to pass on their lower costs to consumers. American families should not be the first to pay and the last to benefit. The president's number one economic priority is tackling inflation, and looking ahead, there are a number of reasons why
I gotta ask you guys, I'm sorry, that she's been saying this for weeks now. The first to pay and the last to benefit. Can somebody, for the love of God, tell me what that means? I don't know what that means. The last to benefit. I feel like both parties are mutually going and purchasing something or selling something, right? I mean, you have the gas station selling a product, and you as a consumer are voluntarily going to that gas station and purchasing that product, meaning gas, from those people, and you're both benefiting, right? I don't know what she means, the last to benefit, because that's where it ends. I'm so baffled by it. Somebody, for the love of God, let me know in the comments. Can't figure it out.
Expect those high prices to ease over the coming months. Saturday marked the one-year anniversary of President Biden's executive order to promote competition across the American economy. This EO prompted a government-wide effort to help lower prices, raise wages, and encourage innovation.
Lower prices, but increase wages. Does that make sense to anybody? I mean, you're just basically asking people, hey, we want you to cut your margins. We want you to make less profit. We want you to hurt yourselves and shoot yourself in the foot on our behalf. And I love this aspect that she's going to boast about higher wages. Higher wages inflates the economy. And she's talking about this whole thing on inflation. Everything's Putin's fault. But yet you literally campaigned on the campaign trail about increasing the federal minimum wage from $7.50 to $15 an hour. Thank God that didn't happen, but you're still trying to push for it. I mean, remember when Biden leaned into the mic and was like, it's in your hands now. You have the bargaining chips. All weird and stuff like that. So they don't get it. They literally don't understand how the economy works. They're going to boast about all these things, and then they're shocked, right? The Democrats are always shocked when stuff gets really expensive after they just got done voting in more minimum wage hikes. And so that's why you got a Panda Express across the street from me. That's literally $20 an hour. They're paying $20 an hour to take a ladle and take pre-cooked food and scoop it onto a plate. I'm not kidding. $20 an hour for that. Or to work at Taco Bell to take your gloves and dip it into pre-cooked meat and put it in a taco that's already pre-made for somebody. $20 an hour, then they can't fathom. They can't fathom why they're paying like $10 for a burrito or a taco. It's so baffling. Like, oh, these people deserve to get paid more. They deserve, oh my God, this is so expensive. This is outrageous. This is just outrageous. Can you believe it, Susan? Can you believe we're paying $10 for a burrito? These people just aren't getting paid enough. Where's it? It's going in the pockets of those damn CEOs and board members, the millionaires. It's going in the billionaires' pockets. It's, that was Bernie Sanders. It's a terrible impression, but y'all know what I mean. You all know where I'm going with this. It's ridiculous.
And 1 year in, we're extraordinarily proud of the progress we've made. Just a few examples on this is the Department of Justice and the Federal Trade Commission have already scored big wins for Americans. They have locked mega mergers in the insurance and sugar industries and stopped a defense contractor mega merger that would have cost taxpayers billions of dollars.
Winning.
In just a few months,
winning
Americans
on all
with
fronts.
Hearing loss will be able to buy hearing aids over the counter at a drugstore instead of requiring a prescription, which could save them thousands of dollars. And the Department of Agriculture is cracking down on the meat processing industry.
When you're talking about people buying hearing aids, and look, I'm all for it, I'm not against it. I'm just saying, when you're talking about people being able to buy hearing aids over the counter, I mean, you are literally scraping at the bottom of the barrel to find any good news from your administration to put it out there to the public. Am I not wrong, folks? Does that not already deserve a like and subscribe right there for pointing that out? When you start talking about shit like that, you're like, do we have anything, Joe? Joe, do we have anything? And his earache falls out, oh, let's look up some about hearing aids. God. This administration is something else, folks.
And supporting new competitors so farmer and ranchers get a fair price. Our administration will continue driving structural change to produce lower prices, higher wages, and to make our economy dynamic and competitive.
Make our economy dynamic and competitive. I mean, maybe on a domestic level, yeah, you're going to create more competition. It's tough to do that when, yes, you're increasing wages, but you're also going to be increasing your price at the same time because you're going to pass it down to the consumer, especially if you're a public entity. But on a freaking global level, you increasing higher wages sometimes prices yourself out of the market. We've seen this with the automobile industry where these union workers were getting way too greedy. And so finally, the manufacturing was just like, hell, we'll take it to Mexico. We'll take it to other places. They're willing to do it cheaper. So you just price yourself out of the market. And so there's also that danger as well. But we don't want to talk about those things, folks. We want to talk about hearing aids and other things you can get over the counter and stopping certain defense contractors from saving taxpayers, millions or billions of dollars or whatever the hell she wants to spew.
Following a briefing from NASA, the president and the vice president will unveil.
Okay, so she's going to go into unveiling the whole James Webb Telescope, which is cool. Those pictures come out later on today. I do want to go over the image here that she's talking about because this is important. And I want to talk about a manipulation and misrepresentation of data. Now, understandably, this graph on the vertical axis, also known in algebra as the y-axis, doesn't start at 0. Okay, it starts at 85. They have to do this because if you zoom that graph out, it would look flat and they would look like they merged together. You wouldn't see any data. But she's all up in arms about the aspect of a 60-cent difference here. Mind you, she's utilizing that difference of 60 cents as of basically a couple days ago. But this is within the last 2-3 weeks, right? I mean, the difference in price between retail gasoline and crude oil, you're talking pennies here. So she's losing her crap, and the White House are creating this whole uproar with retail gasoline stations going, oh, well, we're not seeing the exact negative slope here that we are with the crude oil. Well, yeah, they just got done inheriting billions of dollars worth of losses because you guys shut the entire economy down. I also want to show you this. I'm going to slide this over here for y'all to take a look. Just because the retail price will say $4.70, right? What was it? Let's look again. What was it? Yeah, $4.70. In that is taxes, distribution and marketing, refining, and then you have the crude oil. So that differential there on the taxes, distribution, marketing, refining doesn't always go in their pockets. So that profit isn't always being seen on that retail price, it's disingenuous to be pushing it out there to the American public saying, look at the profits they're making. It's literally pennies. And so that gap of 60 cents is definitely a lot less in terms of profit making there. You're only including the crude oil there. So this is how they manipulate data. This is how they further push the narrative, and they're going to blame it all on Putin. They're not going to blame it on themselves. You're going to have Democrats come out and call them out there for this BS here on the stuff they're trying to push. And you wouldn't expect them to have a specific decline and cater their prices to the crude oil necessarily because they have to sit there and gauge what the market behavior is doing. And what I mean by that, and you're going to see a news article here in a moment, is Joe Biden and his health secretary or secretary of health and the aides within his administration are talking about COVID-19 making a comeback this fall. So why would they hurt their own profit margins, having the potential of going back into another, I don't know, lockdown maybe, or certain mandates put in place that's going to hurt business owners, that's going to hurt the American people? Furthermore, a recession is the possibility of happening. So why would they cater to certain narratives that are negatively going to impact their business and their business model? So you got these knuckleheads out here in the White House lying to all of you. And I want to make sure I pointed that out. She kept going with a bunch of other stuff. And I love that the other people in the administration before her were echoing this whole thing on the Putin's fault, but they're going to continue to chauffeur this out. It's unbelievable. And did you hear her talk about the CPI data in June? It's like, let me just tell you, she said this. She said, June CPI data is already out of date because energy prices have come down substantially this month and are expected to fall further. Because she sees like a couple cents drop. They pushed this whole thing too, where there was a 3 cent decrease. I think it was like 3.17 or 3.7 decrease in gas price. And they were like shouting how, oh, this is the biggest drop since 2008. Like 3 cents. That doesn't do anything for anybody. It's the same way Joe Biden's tapping into the petroleum reserve. It's a drop in the bucket. It doesn't do anything. And then he sends it to China. Wait till we get into this. Wait till the last story I have for all of you today. It's going to piss you off. It got my blood going. But without further ado, let's move further into what she's pushing here. So drivers have been facing significant pain at the pump since Joe Biden's basically been in office. As of Monday, AAA's national average price, folks, was $4.67. The figure has declined slightly since it surpassed the $5 mark last month, which is why they're trying to boast the numbers here and why they're trying to push the whole, again, narrative that the retail price is different and their profit margins aren't what they should be. They should be taking a hit for the American people, which is no reason for it. You also had the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics is slated to release its new CPI data, I believe, tomorrow. And that the CPI report released last month noted that the all items index increased 8.6% for the 12-month ending May, the largest 12-month increase since December 1981. Yeah, things are that bad, folks. But she's going to be, we're going to just have, numbers are going to be slightly inflated. So be on the lookout for that. But increased wages, low unemployment, things are just looking so good right now. And then goes on about hearing aids. So it's just, that's what the administration's pushing. That's everything that's going on right now with them as far as yesterday. Guys, I wish you joined us in the live stream. It's just unbelievable the stuff they went over. I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Bald Brad Show. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all our future content.